It is so nice to have us once again on the media platform of Restore Nigeria Network. And in today's episode, I will focus on yet another collapsing sector of the Nigerian society, and that's our fast unraveling national education sector. I will speak on how it used to be, how it is now, and how it could be in the near future. But let me begin by saying that education is the single most important sector of our national life. This is because education is what connects our past to our present and then shapes and determines the future. This is why the quality of government, the public service, the economy, and the health sectors are irretrievably connected to the quality and system of the national education of any country. It is through education that any society can move from its past through the present and into the future which it desires to have. Indeed, there is a very close nexus between the history of the degradation and the collapse of the national economy of our country and the similar dysfunction and the decayed state of our national education system. Like the economy, the educational sector was on a very promising rise between the time of independence in 1960 up till the middle of 1980. Unlike the economy, the mid-1980s marked the turning point when the downward spiral of our national education system began. Until this point, the Nigerian educational sector was top-rated, so much that students from around the world craved admission into Nigerian universities, and our universities used to have to sift through a long list of applicants in order to select and to accept professors from top-rated foreign universities who were regularly applying to come to teach in our universities, either on a permanent basis or for their sabbaticals. In fact, in those days, a job applicant who presents a degree earned from a foreign university would be laughed out of any interview room in the Nigerian public and private service sectors. Similarly, there are evidences of presidents of some African and Middle East countries coming for treatments in some of our teaching hospitals, which themselves are appendages of our medical schools and universities. This was the golden era of the Nigerian education, and this was where we were in the past. But much have changed for the worse since then. In the present times, our universities are mere glorified high schools, and foreign embassies in the country are daily inundated with visa applications from Nigerian students who are desperately seeking for admissions into foreign schools. This is also the exact situation with our university lecturers, who are almost permanently on strike and who dream and plot for any opportunity to move abroad. Likewise, our teaching hospitals, which have truly turned into mere consulting clinics, just as President Muhammadu Buhari rightly described them. Hence, taking a cue from President Buhari, who knows the scale of the decay more than the rest of us, every other Nigerians who can afford it are heading abroad to attend to their medical problems, no matter how trivial. This is the present condition of our national education, and it is exactly where we are today. However, as good as the Nigerian education system used to be in the past, it was a seriously flawed system, whose shortcomings were brutally exposed during the attempts to industrialize the national economy. It was then found that all the factories that were built for the processing of agricultural produce into manufactured end products, and which were built around the country, required foreign expatriate engineers and technicians to operate and to maintain them. Similarly, construction jobs on our highways, on roads and bridges could only be done by expatriates' technical hands. And the modern equipments that were supplied to hospitals scattered around the country had to be operated by expatriates. And this made their maintenance very difficult because of the lack of local skilled technical manpower. In this regard, not much have changed, even as of today. And this shows that the Nigerian education system is grossly unbalanced. It is a system which is largely made for the production of grammarians, theater artists, entertainers, lawyers, bankers, accountants, hoteliers, and estate agents. At this stage, Let me explain that educational systems can be divided into two categories, and these are classical education and contemporary education. Classical education is centered on the study of sociologies, arts, languages, culture, histories, and finance. It is a system that is built around grammar schools and institutions that are required to produce bankers, accountants, lawyers, estate agents, and theater artists for the operation of a financialized economy, which are economies that are centered on finance, insurance, real estate, and entertainment services. This is the old economy. It is a consumptive and a dependent economy, and which can only be suitable for an archaizing society. On the other hand, is contemporary education. This is a STEM-based system, STEM, which is centered on the teaching of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Hence, the STEM acronym, STEM. This is an education system that produces the scientists, technologists, engineers, and high-skilled manpower that are required to build and operate an industrialized and a productive economy. That is the economy that is required for a nation to modernize into an efficient and technologically sufficient country. Now, unlike classical education, STEM education leads to the development of a productive and a sovereign national economy. It has to be noted that the world is rapidly changing. It is moving from an agrarian and a manual society to a scientifically intensive world of advanced technology, a world which is increasingly driven by advanced microchips and autonomous artificial intelligence systems. The change agent driving these changes is education. This is why, just as an economic war is being fought on the geo-economic front, a technological war is also raging on the educational front. This is because countries around the world are in a race to be in front in the STEM education race, so as to attain leadership in modern economy of advanced manufacturing and artificial intelligence, which is the economy that is shaping the world of today and which will define the world of the future. Hence, economically and technologically, the world is being divided into two, the haves and the have-nots. And those who have it are determined to determine those who don't access to technologies that are necessary to make scientific and technological advancements. Therefore, the onus is on every country to choose either to develop scientifically and technologically or to stagnate and remain dependent and under the control of other countries. Every discerning person is aware of these ongoing geo-economic and geopolitical battles that are going on in the political, economic, and technological fields of the world, whose outcome will change the global world order in dramatic ways from what it is known to be today. Therefore, as of necessity, if we are not to be hopelessly left behind, if we must develop into a modern society, and if we must transit from a dependent and consumptive economy into a productive and a sovereign economy, it is imperative that we must begin the reform and modernization of our national education sector. First, by returning it into productive functionality, and then rapidly removing the present content mismatch and tilting it towards a higher ratio of STEM teaching relative to classical education. But for this progress to occur, this country, our country, will need a progressive and visionary leadership. A leadership that knows what is at stake and which has the passion and requisite experience to do what is required for us to transit our educational system from its present state of archaic decadence to that of a modern STEM-driven system. In this case, passion and experience are the paramount leadership credentials that are required. This is because, first of all, a leader must have passion for education in order to appreciate its importance to the building of a modern economy and a modern country. And then secondly, the commitment of personal investment in the sector is essential in order for the leader to appreciate what is required to run a functional school system. This is also what brings the hands-on experience that is required to return the sector to functionality and productivity. Unfortunately, one of the tragedies of the Nigerian education system is that majority of our leaders seem to have zero passion for education. And in fact, going by the issues and their antecedents, most Nigerian leaders could be said to have serious hatred for education. This is why it is in their nature of these leaders to, rather than schools, prefer to invest their money in banking, in container importation, in building filling stations, hotels, and in real estate property acquisitions. And this is why they don't mind the decaying school infrastructures that are dotting the states of the country, because they have no personal investment in the school system. They send their children to schools abroad. Therefore, they have nothing to lose or to be held to account for should ASU and Nigerian teachers embark on strike till eternity. This is why we should be thankful that the statutory time set aside for us to change power in order to make progress is now at hand. And the upcoming presidential election of February 2023 is a great opportunity which we have to begin the restoration, the reform, and the modernization of our national education system. But of course, this will require that we make well-informed choices from among the leadership options that is on offer from the leading political parties of the country. And we can place these parties in two broad categories. On one side of the divide, we have NNPP, which is presenting Engineer Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, a lifelong syndicalist, a bureaucrat, and a careerist who has turned into an entitled power-mongering politician and who has no demonstrable passion or any provable investment in education. And then we have the Labour Party, whose candidate, Mr. Peter Obi, is a consummated trader, a container importer, and a supermarket chain trader, but who has zero investment in education. And finally, the APC, whose Bola Tinubu is a known bookkeeping accountant who turned a tax collector-in-chief and master landmonger of Lagos, but who, for all his fame acquisitiveness, puts a no-show for education. All of these leaders, all of them, are persons who are unproven when it comes to passion for education. And they are people with no hands-on personal experience to count on when it comes to tackling the many problems which our national education is facing. Therefore, electing any of them will mean the continuation of the present decadence and the accelerated rot of our national school system. And then on the other side of the divide, we have PDP. PDP, who is presenting to us Atiku Abubakar, a man with a deep passion for education and who, over the years, has visible credentials of massive investment in the entire value chain of Nigeria's school system, from primary to secondary up to university level. Let us pause and take a look at the famed Apti University, which is founded by Atiku. Clearly, electing Atiku Abubakar as president means that our schools will work the same way he is able to make the APTI group of schools to work. But the most important thing in choosing Atiku is that in the instance of any protracted ASU and teacher strike, we can mobilize and picket APTI and remain there until the problem of our public school is satisfactorily resolved. This is a weapon which we will deny ourselves should we settle for any of the other candidates who are persons with zero personal investment in education. But I am certain, very certain, that things will not come to this, and this will not be necessary at all. Because there is no doubt that Atiku Abubakar has the required know-how, which is backed by many years of experience to solve our school problems and to reform and modernize the national education sector. Certainly, electing Atiku Abubakar as president will mean the restoration, reformation, and modernization of our national education. In 2023, there is no better decision other than to elect the candidate with proven passion for education and the candidate with substantial experience of successfully running modern schools. In this present case, the clear and obvious choice has to be Atiku Abubakar. Let me now remind ourselves that a pot or a kettle can only drip what is inside it, and no one can give you what it does not have. If you do not have passion, you can't give passion. If you do not have experience, you cannot give experience. But factually, in this regard, when it comes to experience and passion for education, Atiku knows. Therefore, in 2023, let us vote for a modern education system. Let us vote for a STEM-driven education system. Let us vote for Atiku. Vote for PDP.